afternoon. This is the very latest we have for you. I'm Yvonne Okwara Matole. Now, the death toll in the Malanga tanker tragedy accident has risen to 15 after 2 more victims succumbed to Siaya County Referral Hospital. The hospital medical superintendent, Dr. Liech Odoyo, said the rest of the victims were in stable condition. Authorities say all the missing persons have been accounted for. The DNA to identify those burned beyond recognition will be conducted tomorrow. Siaya Senator James Orengo and other leaders cautioned the public to avoid rushing to accident scenes. They also urged Kenya to put signage on roads to indicate bumps.
I'm appealing to our people, please keep away from some of these vehicles which carry petroleum products, others which may not be petroleum products. They may be toxic and not good for the health and well-being of our citizens.
They are stable. As far as COVID, they are stable. The bans are the more urgent issue. In terms of percentage bans, varying degrees, we may not want to share much, but quite a number of them have more than 50% bans, which is not good, which is a challenge to the prognosis. But we want to keep their hopes up and we want to give them a fighting chance.
Let's move now to the search for new IEBC commissioners that entered its 9th day today, with 3 shortlisted candidates pleading their case. Professor Napo Lokuruka was hard-pressed to explain the qualifications required for one to become county speaker. Former National Police Service Commission and IIBRC Commissioner Murshid Abdallah, who was questioned on why he had applied for several jobs. Meanwhile, Naisiae Tobiko also faced the selection panel.
2017, according to the observation report 2017, polling officials were harassed and intimidated. In some areas, simply showing up for work was perceived as supporting one side of the political divide. Yeah? It was also reported that a week before the election, IEBC trainings were attacked and disrupted by gangs of youths in some areas. If you are appointed today, Professor, how would you have handled this situation?
I would have probably have gone in before I carried out the exercise, whatever that would be, to find out what the environment is like. Some kind of intelligence reports, things you can get, for example, by talking to the county commissioner or the police commander and other people, or, I mean, it's good always before you go into a place to do work like that, to know what the environment is like.
The National Police Service Commission.
Yes.
You are actually serving a 6-year term.
Right.
And you had 2 years to go.
Yes.
And with 2 years to go in the National Police Service Commission, you presented an application to join another independent commission, the Electoral Service.
Yes.
Did you intend to bail out of the National Police Service Commission?
The question of me having now gone to the IEBC is a moot point because I didn't go there. And I served with the best of my ability.
People stopped you from joining. You didn't stop yourself.
No,
you applied. Those who are selecting did not select you.
They didn't
Had they selected you, you would have left the National Police Service Commission.
Yes, I would have resigned and joined the Election Commission.
Okay. You say that you are key.
ODM leader Raila Odinga has called on the National Police Service to assure Kenyans of their safety in a rising spate of murders and disappearances. In a statement, Odinga said the turn of events was unacceptable and must now be arrested. Raila says, and I quote, "This is not the country we wish for our children, especially our daughters and sisters. Yet slowly but steadily, this brutality is becoming a new normal." End quote. He has called on the judiciary to assure Kenyans that justice will come swiftly and fairly where lives have been senselessly lost. While passing his condolences to families that have lost their loved ones, he urged Kenyans to speak out loudly against the slaughter of children and gender-based violence. These murders cannot be treated as personal or family matters. These are Kenyan matters and must be treated as such, the statement read in part. Deputy President William Ruto has continued his onslaught on the push for constitutional change. Ruto said the country does not need a review of the constitution, but instead bolstering of the economy and creation of jobs for the youth. The Deputy President, who spoke in Kilifi, described proponents of constitutional change as leaders keen on self-preservation of power.
Haiwezi kuwa mjadala ya kubadilisha katiba. Tunataka tubadilishe uchumi. Haiwezi kuwa ni mjadala wa kutafuta vyeo. Iwe ni mjadala wa kutafuta nafasi ya kazi kwa mamilioni ya vijana na biashara kwa wamama na wale wengine wote. Haiwezi kuwa ni mjadala wa kutafuta mamlaka. Ni lazima ianze kuwa mjadala wa empowerment. Mkulima aweze kusaidika kuongeza mapato. Wakorosho apate mapato, wa mnazi apate mapato, mfugaji apate mapato zaidi, na yule ambaye hana kazi apate kazi, ndio tuweze kubadilisha taifa letu la Kenya. Na ndio tunasema lazima mjadala ubadilike katika taifa letu la Kenya.
Let's talk about education now. Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha says preparations for the 2021 education calendar are in top gear and that all learners will join Form 1. The CS noted that the calendar will be reduced from 39 weeks to 30 and that all education material has been sent to all public schools before the official reopening of schools.
We are going to be on the lookout to ensure that no child is disadvantaged. As far as the 100% transition is concerned, I was with CS Matiang'i this morning. We are going to continue to mop every child that did KCPE and take the child to Form 1. In addition, we shall mop up any other child who was out of school and take to the appropriate level of schooling that the child wants. As far as the Elimu scholarships are concerned, ladies and gentlemen, this was a very transformative act by government. Everything is complete. It has been fair. I personally handed over certificates of appointment to the children in Wajir.
Tharaka Nithi Governor Muthomi Njuki is challenging the national and county governments to dedicate more resources to sectors such as education, which are facing numerous challenges, and reduce recurrent expenditure. Speaking at Iriaini Primary School in Tharaka North, where he made donations to learners who are set to join Form 1 this year, the governor asked the government shelves issues like BBI and some flagship projects that will save money. He says he has frozen expenditures on office tea, flowers, meetings, entertainment to enable his government to raise the bursary kitty from the current 20 million to at least 30 million shillings.
Protocol observed. No.
Lazima tupige hesabu. Tuulize kama kweli tutapeleka pesa katika mashule. Unajua hii shule iko hapa inangoja pesa inaitwa free primary education. Sio kweli? Kuna ingine inaitwa free secondary education. Ile inapelekwa kila mtoto. Hiyo nayo tunahitaji serikali kuu tuachane na maneno ya referendum. Ile pia tulikuwa tunapenda sana. Tuachane na maneno ya BBI ambayo tulikuwa tunapenda sana, hata ingawa sasa hivi imewekwa break. Hiyo zingojee tuone kama pesa inaweza kwenda kwa free primary education na free secondary education, watoto wasome kwa sababu this is the future.
In South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa joined a cleanup sweeping away rubble and trash after days of rioting that resulted in citywide damage. Footage from national broadcaster SABC showed Ramaphosa surrounded by people saying, and I quote, "The government will defeat the invisible enemy that has infiltrated the country," end quote. The rioting broke out the past week in response to the jailing of ex-President Jacob Zuma for his failure to appear at a corruption inquiry. It swiftly degenerated into looting and destruction, driven by widespread anger over the hardship and inequality that for nearly 3 decades of democracy since the end of apartheid has failed to address. In the past few days of protests, 161 malls and shopping centers, 11 warehouses, 8 factories and 161 liquor outlets were damaged.
Please open the space.
We were infiltrated. There were people who came in, this invincible enemy that we are fighting, which we must continue to fight and defeat. And I can say we are going to defeat them because they are not equal to the strength that we have in relation to young people like you, our government, our security forces, and the people of Soweto and the people of South Africa.
Prime Minister Boris Johnson has urged caution as most legal restrictions on social contact are lifted in England. There are now no limits on how many people can meet or attend events. Nightclubs reopened at midnight and table service will not be necessary in pubs and restaurants. Face coverings will be recommended in some spaces but will not be required by law. The PM, Chancellor and the Health Secretary are self-isolating, and there are warnings cases will surge. Some scientists are predicting that UK infections, currently at about 50,000 a day, could reach 200,000 a day later in the summer. But with more than 68% of UK adults fully vaccinated, modelling suggests hospital admissions, serious illness and deaths from COVID-19 will be at a lower level.
Work from home where you can, but we don't expect that the whole country will return to their desks as one from Monday. And we're setting out guidance for business for a gradual return to work over the summer. And as a matter of social responsibility, we're urging nightclubs and other venues with large crowds to make use of the NHS COVID pass, which shows proof of vaccination, a recent negative test, or natural immunity as a means of entry.
People the world over will no doubt be watching what happens after this ease of restrictions in the United Kingdom. Now, let's move to some sports news. The Kenya women's national basketball team, the Kenya Lionesses, has attributed their success at the Afro-Basket qualifiers in Kigali, Rwanda, to the team's cohesiveness and chemistry during the entire tournament. The Lionesses beat favourites Egypt 99-83 in an entertaining final at the Kigali Arena after a tough journey in the qualifying rounds. In their first match, they lost to the hosts Rwanda by 77-45, but bounced back against South Sudan to bag their first win, scoring 66-48. Kenya faced Egypt in their next match and lost narrowly by 107-106. They then qualified for the semi-finals, where they upstaged Rwanda 79-52 to reach the final for a rematch with the Egyptians.
All right. What we did different, I believe we stuck as a team. We believed in ourselves and we gave it our best.
The team chemistry is good. We have a good team, I must say. We, on and off the court, we have gelled, we have bonded, so I think it's really good.
American Coco Gauff will not compete in the Tokyo Olympics after testing positive for COVID-19. The 17-year-old was set to become the youngest Olympic tennis player since the year 2000, but instead joins a number of the world's top players who've already pulled out of the games. The American said she was extremely disappointed that she will not be able to compete in both the singles and the doubles competitions. The announcement by Gauff, who last competed at Wimbledon, where she lost in the last 16, comes 2 days after Australian tennis player Alex de Minaur tested positive for COVID-19 prior to his departure.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, I don't know. Yeah, I know. Guys, you ready? Yeah.
Because they're playing so
Kelly Rovanpera became the youngest ever winner of a World Rally Championship round with a victory in the rally in Estonia. The 20-year-old Finn, who is based in Estonia and in February became the youngest driver to lead the championship, finished 59.9 seconds ahead of Hyundai's Craig Breen. Belgium's Thierry Neuville drove into third place for Hyundai, a further 12.5 seconds back. France's World Championship leader Sébastien Ogier came fourth for Toyota, with British team mate Elfyn and Evans coming fifth. More news your way at 7 and at 9. Thank you for watching. I'm Yvonne Okwara Matole. Good afternoon.